Hi there, Serial Trader here. I got a request to have a look at XLE and CCJ, so I'll stay on a little bit of a shorter term time frame, as nothing's really substantially changed as far as the longer term pattern as of yet. So starting with XLE, this looks like an incomplete sequence to the upside, at least for now, and just basing off of our low back here on the 19th of August. I think we got the 1, expanded flat wave 2. That's likely our third wave here. And perhaps working another expanded flat this time for the wave 4. And then maybe looking for that final push up in wave 5 before we can consider this a completed sequence from the basis of looking for a kind of a larger pullback, perhaps, right? So okay, if we are just working a wave 4 pullback here, we'd be looking for some common fib retracement levels that you'd see in a wave 4. So 50 and 38.2% would be your most common wave 4 pullback levels. So we're just about at that 38.2% retrace. If we go a little deeper to that 50%, that gets us closer to around 53, 52.94. But right now we're hovering around mid 54s. So ideally you find support pretty soon here and begin making that next push up for wave 5. Now this only falls apart if we get 4-1 overlap. So that would be here at the what's 49.69 level. So as long as this doesn't pull back past that area and overlap, then this can still be considered a wave 4, although ideally it won't go that far because you'd want to see wave 4 normally be a shallower, between that 38.2 and 50% retrace level. There's also a gap down here that might be closed, and even if that gap comes down and gets closed here, and let's see, that level to close the gap would be 51.16. That could still get closed without invalidating this being a 1-4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, just as long as we hold that level 49.69. So I'd certainly be looking for a long-sided trade here, but just wait for it to. If we go on the 1 hour chart, there's nothing really suggestive of a short-term bottom yet. But as soon as you start to see this thing find some support and build a little bit of a base, that could be kind of an entry opportunity here to get long or to get more long if you're already long. But yeah, just not from as far as like a trade setup, just not quite seeing it yet. Need to see a little bit more of a entry setup here to get interested. But yeah, certainly still overall from a wave perspective looks constructive for more upside as long as we don't come down and take out that key area. Okay, so that's XLE. Now let's go to CCJ. So now CCJ, again, I'll keep it more shorter term here, as nothing has really changed on that bigger time frame. Now we're still on the daily charts, of course, so it's not that short term, but compared to a monthly or weekly, it is. Okay, now from this low here, with this nice push up, big pullback, and now another push up, pullback, push up, pullback. Now what I am noticing here, just kind of put the wave count aside momentarily, where each push up, yes, we're making a new high, but it's a marginal new high, and it seems to be kind of diminishing in its strength every time we get a push up. Now we haven't broken trend, we're still in a technical uptrend, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and on, etc. So until that breaks, no reason to really be thinking overly bearish. But I will note, so we have a series of higher highs, but we are getting some bearish divergence on daily RSI. So as we're making higher highs in price, we are making clear lower highs on RSI. So that's kind of a warning sign that maybe the upside is getting exhausted here and perhaps a larger correction is coming. Now to support that, I do see what I would consider a potential ending diagonal, and that's where you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And it also, from a classical charting perspective, is a rising wedge. Okay, ending diagonal is just a fancier Elliott wave version, I guess, of a rising wedge that's a little more strict in its criteria. Now, as far as the criteria for an ending diagonal, so wave 3 must be shorter than 1. It obviously is. Wave 5 must be shorter than 3. If that's the peak of wave 5, it certainly is shorter than wave 3. And you must have 4-1 overlap, which we certainly do. And, okay, so we are starting to break this lower trend line here, this 2-4 trend line. So that could be an early sign that, yes, we have an ending diagonal completed and we're going to have a large correction to the downside. To really kind of enforce that, you'd have to, in my mind, break this low, which would be 23.41. You break that low, and we've broken this series of higher highs and higher lows. That would be a lower low, and then we'd be looking for a deeper correction to the downside. Now, interestingly enough, the tendency of an ending diagonal, once it does complete and break, is you at least go back to the origin of the ending diagonal, which again would be around this 15 level. Okay, 15 and change. So that would be interesting. Anyway, I'd be looking for a bigger correction for a buying opportunity here. I don't like this as kind of another pullback to get long, because it looks like it's kind of exhausted itself to the upside just based on pattern and momentum divergences there. But yeah, okay. So yeah, nothing's really changed. I still want to see a bigger pullback, and I love that 15 area if we can get it eventually. If you're currently long, I would definitely put that as your stop there at that 23.41 level, because if that breaks, to me that trend has broken, and we're kind of confirming that we're in this larger pullback. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. Fairly basic, but that's really what I see kind of from a trading standpoint. No need to get into that bigger time frame like I did in the last couple videos maybe. All right, Serial Trader signing off.